Good evening and welcome to the Digital Excellence Pharma Academy, a joint initiative of CredoWeb and Medicine Man to upskill Indian pharma sales and marketing professionals to address the challenges brought on by the disruption going forwards in digital evolution and eventually digital transformation. This is the second session in the leadership module. In the first session, Atish Majumdar, the president of Mankind Pharma, talked about the leadership imperatives and what is required from the leaders to navigate in these turbulent times. In this session today, we're actually compressing two of my modules on mindset, the digital mindset, because it all begins, whether you are a leader at the front level or a leader at the C-suite level, it all begins with mindset. So if you want to know in detail about what Atish has talked about in his last session, then you need to revisit the webinar as well as the question answer session. Today's session is actually a condensation of the two sessions that I have spoken on the digital mindset. So here's wishing you all the best for the new year. 2021 will bring us a better year, more productive, and along with this learning, it should help you adapt the digital mindset and be successful in 2021. So let's understand what is mindset and why is it so important. And I'm going to give you an example from the post-Second World War era when most of the world was destroyed and people's lives were in shambles and they were wondering as to what is the future. And that is a time that the United States and the USSR, now Russia, were in a race to become the next superpower. So they rightly recognize that the country that is able to achieve air superiority will become the next world power. And that's very important. They recognize the issues. And today, pharma has to recognize that the post-COVID era, things will not return to normal. We will have to be prepared for the new normal. And therefore, how do we go about doing business in the post-COVID era? And digital will be one of the drivers of success in the post-COVID era. So you need that mindset. And I'm going to give an example of how the United States Air Force developed one of the finest machines ever built, codenamed X-50, the first aircraft that was able to fly faster than the speed of sound. But guess what? There was not a single pilot in the entire US Air Force who was willing to fly this plane because they had a belief in their mind that when the aircraft hits the sound barrier, it will disintegrate and the pilot will die. So there it sat, this beautiful machine, not being flown for quite some time, till a young man by name Chuck Yeager volunteered to fly that machine. So on the D-Day, he sat in the aircraft, started the engine, accelerated, and took off. People down were waiting to see what is going to happen to Chuck Yeager because nobody has done this before. And after a few minutes, they could hear the sonic boom when the aircraft actually breaks the sound barrier. And they were wondering, is Chuck alive or is he dead? And a few minutes later, Chuck Yeager successfully landed his aircraft and became the first man in the history of the world to break sound barrier. And do you know what he had to say to his colleagues? He said, gentlemen, the barrier was not in the sky. The barrier was in the mindset of the people. And that is what I want to tell our pharmaceutical colleagues today as they face the challenge. The barrier to reach the customer is not in the marketplace, not in the doctor's chamber. It's in our mindsets. And therefore, it is so essential for us to adopt the digital mindset. So we will go a little deeper into what is mindset. The theory of mindset was developed by a Stanford University professor, Carol Dweck. So when she researched, she found that people basically had two kinds of mindset. They either had a growth mindset or a fixed mindset. So what is a fixed mindset? A fixed mindset is one where you believe that intelligence is fixed and you stop putting efforts on self-development. So it's very important for you to have a growth mindset. And what is a growth mindset? That believes that abilities can be developed through dedication and hard work. And that is what is required, because all achievers have these qualities of growth mindset. So here's the theory. Mindset change leads to behavior change, and behavior change leads to outcome change. And that is why I emphasize the importance of adopting a digital mindset. Unless your mindset is changed, your behavior will not change. If your behavior will not change, you will continue to get the same outcomes or results. And that is what pharma has been doing for a long time. They know that the current model doesn't work. There are too many reps outside the doctor's clinic. There's no information overload. Everybody is giving the same information. And therefore, first of all, you need to have this mindset change, adopt the digital mindset, and think about it as that versatile platform that will completely transform the way we communicate, engage our customers, and create a wonderful experience for them, so that it creates a pull factor and not the push factor that we are so comfortable and used to. This picture need not be explained. Take a hard look at it. There are two people in a prison cell. One sees the bars and he paints the bars. The other sees the stars and he paints what's outside the bars. And therefore he has the confidence to dig a hole through his prison cell and escape to freedom. And therefore I said, that's why I said mindset is so important. What do you see? Do you see only a crisis that could mean the end of your career, your opportunities ahead? Or do you see an opportunity in the crisis? The Chinese symbol is a combination of danger and opportunity. Sure, we have a lot of dangers, which is why I don't advise you to go out without the right protection gear. But there's also an opportunity, and it is the digital mindset, the growth mindset, the willingness to learn that will help you to see the opportunities and, like this young man, be able to successfully make the transition into the digital era. So look at the changes in the marketplace that has happened. That's exactly why we need a mindset change, because the market has moved from acute to chronic. And that changes the value proposition for us. Now we have to look at the lifetime value of a customer. For example, I've been a hypertensive for 20 years, but I'm living a good quality of life thanks to the drugs, thanks to the doctors, thanks to the apps and everything else that is available there to help me to modify my lifestyle, take my medicines on tablets. So if I am taking 100 rupees worth of medication a day, multiplied by 30 days, multiplied by 12, multiplied by 20 years, then you understand what is lifetime customer value. And this is where the digital platform helps you to have a better engagement with doctors, create better experience, whether for the doctors or for their patients. And therefore you can have a sustainable relationship. Customer loyalty going forwards will depend entirely on the kind of engagement and the kind of experiences that you can create for the doctors. We have shifted from treatment to management, because most of the lifestyle disorders cannot be cured with one dosage or 1 week's treatment. It involves lifelong management. And that is where digital tools are even more effective in helping patients to have access to these tools that help them to better manage everything from their diets to how many steps you have walked today, how much weight you have gained, what is your beats per minute, and what is your sugar levels. Everything is possible for them to manage their lifestyle better. So we have moved from treatment to management, which requires an integrated approach. So it's not just the relationship between the doctor is not one of giving a prescription and it's over. No, the patient comes empowered after searching the information. So the doctor has to deal with that first layer. So if the pharma is available to provide a digital service to the empowered and informed patient who asks a lot of questions, you will save the doctor's time. He will He will enjoy that engagement with you, and the customer, the patient, will have a good experience when all his questions are answered. So it needs an integrated approach. From the time he discovers symptoms, Googles it, comes to the patient, gets a prescription, then again goes back and Googles about all the drugs and their side effects. And that's again a place where you can engage with the customers through the doctor's website, through the doctor's app, or through your own company's website, where you can provide patients with the information that they are looking for. And one of the most important things to keep in mind in the internet era is that a lot of information is available, but a lot of information is not correct. So it is important that you use the digital platforms to deliver accurate, correct information which the patients can trust on. So it's an integrated approach. Afterwards, he needs some help or an app to manage compliance so that he takes his medicines regularly. So that's why I said we have moved from treatment to management, and it requires integrated approach. That means pharma companies will have to form uncommon partnerships. I hope you heard about how Google and Apple are considering healthcare to be one of the biggest opportunities for them. In fact, some time back, Novartis acquired a tech company, not another pharma company. They acquired a tech company for a couple of millions of dollars. Why would they do that? Because they understand that to manage the patients, to have an integrated approach, you need to have uncommon partnerships, because the pharma company does not have all the competencies within itself to provide all the services that are required by doctors and patients. So these are the shift in mindset changes that we need to make so that we are comfortable with forming these partnerships and maintaining these partnerships. And why are we doing all this? Because it all leads to greater patient centricity. Because ultimately, it is the patient who is paying for all this. And it's high time that pharma brings him to the center and treats him like every other industry does, so you can sustain your business for a long time. Because if you look at the lifetime value of a customer, if you lose 100 patients, that's quite a sum to lose. So patient centricity is a topic that we will look in detail. Most of the companies talk about it as a byword, as a buzzword, but there is more to it. And those companies that are going to leverage this patient centricity will be the companies that will not only use digital platforms effectively, but they will have sustainable business models in a technology-driven world. So in simple words, I want to say what got you here won't get you there. That's the title of a great book by Marshall Goldsmith, and I suggest you read it. So it's very essential to remember that what got you here, what got you success till now. If you get too confident in the methods, when the world around you is changing, when the patient is changing, doctor is changing, market is changing, and if you remain the same, you will become irrelevant. So got to understand this. There has been a tremendous explosion of knowledge, let alone doctors. Nobody is able to keep pace with the developments that's happening. And let me give you an idea of what is the extent of the knowledge explosion that is happening in the world. In 1950, they said medical knowledge and data doubled every 50 years. By 1980, it was doubling in 7 years. By 2010, it was just 3.5 years. And for 2020, it was projected that it would be multiplying every 73 days. So can you imagine the challenge? And there are already services that are available today to enable doctors to deal with the deluge of information that is coming, because they create such a lot of ambiguity. The challenge is not data, but the challenge is the lack of clarity. And that is where digital adoption is so essential. This is a great book by Yuval Noah Harari, 21 Lessons for the 21st Century. And one of the key lessons is that in a world deluged by irrelevant information, clarity is power. So I showed you how knowledge was multiplying at a very rapid pace. And do you have the way in which you can somehow compress this data and bring clarity and deliver the messages to doctors using that digital platform, using the different channels when they need it, how they need it? Then you will have better engagement to doctors and they will have a better experience dealing with your organization. I believe that the involvement of medical affairs is going to increase in pharma sales and marketing. I think that one of the greatest advantage of digital platforms is that one, the marketing is able to ensure that consistency in delivering the marketing messages without dilution by choosing the right channels. Two, the medical affairs people can help the marketing and the salespeople gain more scientific knowledge, keep them regularly updated using the digital platforms, not just to connect with the doctors, but for the medical affairs to regularly connect with the field force, with the marketing. The one of the important things to bear in mind when we are adopting digital, that we can't work in silos anymore. It has got to be one seamless effort from the pharma companies to reach out to customers, keeping the patient in the focus. So medical affairs, marketing, sales, and supply chain, all this needs to be digitalized completely. Therefore, at the end of the day, we are able to deliver value to the customer by understanding his needs better and helping him to address his own challenges better.